All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, July 3rd. We got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays that we like within the game as well, like player props. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. If you do want to fade me, if you want to do the opposite of where I'm rolling with, all my final plays will be in the pinned comment. Last night was not one of those nights to fade me. We go 8-0, bringing out the money gun. Let's go. 8-0, a massive night here, guys. Honestly, I don't know how we pulled it off because it must have just been a good vibes night because there's plays that I didn't even put into the final plays that I was almost going to roll with yesterday, and we didn't, and some of those hit as well. So it was just a meant-to-be night, but an 8-0 night might be our best night, definitely in the MLB on the channel, but in 3+ years of doing this, might be our best night on the channel. So you know what? One final cha-ching for that. We love to see it. Now, picking all that up absolutely stinks, but we'll take the 8-0 night. Pros outweigh the cons here. Unfortunately, we do have some bad news to dive into, though. Before we do that, hit the like button for the 8-0, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. I'm not promising 8-0 every single night, but you know what? We do our best around here. But like I said, some bad news. Our ride of the day does not come through from Daniel. I like the spot, and Brady Singer, 4.5 strikeouts. He ended on the hook with 4. That was kind of weird. The game got delayed when he had 4, but nonetheless, it is an L. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you got to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments with your favorite play, and I jump on board with one person's pick, give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with your play. If you lose, unfortunately, you got to face it. You got to face the womp. We got to talk about it. So shout out to Daniel for trying here. I like the spot. Maybe the delay kind of threw a wrench into things, but Brady Singer losing on the hook. All right, but like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's dig into today's slate. Very, very excited for this one. Who wouldn't be after stealing all the sportsbooks monies last night, right? Real quick, guys, before we do dive into this late, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be traveling for around the next 6 days or so pretty much the next week. We are going to the West Coast for the 4th of July, so Vacation Ev is going to be in full effect. Still going to get as many videos out as we can on the daily, but they might look a little bit different, sound a little bit different. I know we've been traveling a crap ton this summer, but we had all this planned so long ago, so this is going to be one of the busiest summers of my life, but just wanted to let you guys know that we will be traveling, so FYI, the videos may look and sound a little bit different. Might have some hybrid videos in there where they're a little bit shorter, that type of thing. But yeah, still going to grind, still going to get the videos out, but I did want to give you that heads up that this, for at least the next 6-ish days, is going to be the last full slate breakdown, which kind of sucks. I feel like we're hitting a stride with that 8-0 night, but it is what it is. We got some obligations. So just want to let you guys know, hope you guys do not mind, and yeah, tomorrow's video will be just probably a little bit more of a hybrid video, that type of thing, but still going to make the videos. All right, we got Cleveland taking on the White Sox here. Cleveland big-time favorites in this one. Close game yesterday. Chicago goes up early, and then it was kind of a back-and-forth battle. Came right down to the end of the game there. Cleveland scores in the bottom of the 9th to win 7-6. Today, Gavin Williams on the mound for Cleveland. He has not pitched this season. His last 5 starts, so last year, last September, and a little bit of August there. 2 flat ERA, averaging about 6 or 5 innings pitched, excuse me. I don't necessarily mind the spot for, trying to back Cleveland here just because I think that Chicago kind of gave it their all yesterday. But what I would say is maybe out of all the games here, this could be a stay away spot due to the fact that we have a pitcher that is making his season debut here, going up against Eric Fetty, who's actually been pitching fairly well, just not on the road here for Chicago. So yeah, this is a simple one for me. I lean Cleveland, but I don't think I get to the window with it just due to the fact that, again, Gavin Williams is making his start, and I don't necessarily want to back a guy that is just coming back, if that makes sense. But the reason I still lean Cleveland is because the offense is so much better than Chicago's, and we saw Chicago score 6 runs yesterday. I don't know if they do that 2 games in a row, you know what I mean? So if anything, I back Cleveland, but not necessarily going to want to get down in this spot. I don't mind taking the Guardians team total over in terms of the total, just because I think you might get a decent value because Eric Fetty's on the mound, who, again, he's had like a pretty decent season, but by Chicago White Sox standards. And, you know, he had one bad start. It was in his last 5, and it was against the Dodgers in his last start. Other than that, 2.4 ERA, averaging 6 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, under a home run, almost a half home run per game. So I do think you might get some good value for Cleveland team total. But again, with a full slate, guys, I kind of said it yesterday too. Pick the spots you love. You don't need to bet on what you like. All right, we got Pittsburgh taking on St. Louis. Jared Jones on the mound for Pittsburgh. He's been kind of, I don't want to say hit or miss because he's been more hits than miss lately, but he definitely has some of these, high earned run, short inning games in his last few. But he's coming off of a 7 innings pitch, 2 earned runs, 8K game, pitching 13 pitches per inning. Miles Mikolas, if you remember, he's pitching for the Cardinals. We took him over in innings against the Reds last time out, and he allowed 10 runs through the first 4 1/3. So not necessarily in our good graces here by any means. But one thing I will say is this line kind of perplexes me a little bit. Now, yes, I guess St. Louis's bats looked pretty good yesterday. They scored 7, but that was with a grand slam. You know what I mean? Like a one swing of the bat makes them look like they put up a bunch of runs, and they did. I'm not trying to take it away from them, but this almost seems like it's a short line for Pittsburgh with a stud on the mound like Jared Jones. So I think I'm going to lean first 5 for Pittsburgh here in this spot. But again, like kind of to reiterate what I said about game number 1 about betting on what you love and not what you like. After an 8-0 night, how many times am I going to mention 8-0 in this video? I don't know, probably a million. But after an 8-0 night, I don't need to dig myself out of anything or throw bets in that I don't love. So this is a spot in which that line kind of confuses me because based on the starting pitching, I would have said, Pittsburgh minus 140. But obviously the offense is leaning towards the Cards, right? So I'm going to trust Jared Jones in this spot. Get them probably for right around the same number for first 5 money line. But keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we ultimately end up rolling with that. In terms of the total, I wish it was 8.5 because I could see this being like a 5-3 game regardless of who wins. So I'm going to lean towards the under because I don't see either offense going off like, yesterday. I don't see a grand slam happening again where one swing of the bat changes the entire outcome of the game. So I'm going to stick away from betting it over here. And then in terms of a player prop, I don't mind Andrew McCutchen under 1.5 bases. He went deep yesterday. Last time he went deep, he followed that up with a 1 base game. That was about a week ago or so. Miles Mikolas here, say what you want about him, but when he pitches against right-handed batters, which is what we're going to get from McCutchen today, his batting average against drops pretty drastically, about 20 points. His slugging drops about 30 points. Extra base hit percentage drops as well. And he throws slider, fastball, sinker. If his slider's working, it's tough to get those off. So Andrew McCutchen under 1.5 bases could be a slight spot. Same thing for Nick Gonzalez. But again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Bet on what you love today, not exactly what you like. I got to put that crap on a t-shirt, so I just stopped saying it. All right, Miami taking on Boston here. Boston gets the 8-3 win yesterday. I think Boston's probably the spot again. I hate to keep throwing favorites your way, but Brian Bayo's on the mound going up against Trevor Rogers. Brian Bayo, if you can rewind to the beginning of the season, I've been big on him since he came into the bigs, but the dude just isn't really it right now. So that's what probably prevents me from laying minus 140 with this Red Sox team. In fact, a player prop that I really don't mind is going to be Brian Bayo over 1.5 walks. You're paying a little bit of juice at minus 140 over on MGM, but man, he's done this in 7 straight games. He's done it in 11 of 14 this season. On the road, he's done it in 5 of 8 starts. And it's not like Miami is out there, walking a bunch. I get that. In fact, I think that they might be the worst walking team in terms of walk percentage this year. But overall, it's like Brian Bayo has struggled to find the strike zone. And if you're asking 2 walks from a guy that should pitch a little bit deeper into the game than maybe has been due to the fact that he's going up against a pretty piss poor lineup, that's kind of the spot. And he hit this over in his last game, and he only pitched 2 1/3. You know what I mean? So I think you're getting a little bit of decent value here for Brian Bayo, which kind of sucks because the young kid was supposed to be the next Pedro for the Red Sox, right? Look at him now. He has a long way to go. Not saying he won't do it, but a long way to go. So that's going to be a player prop lean. Like I said, I'm leaning towards the Sox, but to me, it's going to be really hard to get there overall. I don't mind taking a peek at Jalen Duran here over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's going up against Trevor Rogers, a lefty. He bats lefties slightly worse than he does righties, but Trevor Rogers, flip that. When he pitches against lefties, their batting average jumps to 287, so I don't mind seeing that. And fastball, sinker, changeup, and slider are the 4 pitches that Trevor Rogers throws. Jalen Duran's WOBA jumps from his season average on all 4 of those pitches. So I like this spot. Last time he played Miami, which was yesterday, he had 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. I think he had 1 of each. The time before that was back in June 2023. He had 2 hits, 1 RBI. And on the season here, he's hit in 53 of 84 games, 68% of his away games. So he's been a little bit better here, but 70% of his away against a left-handed starter. And what's really cool is his last 2 times against lefty starters on the road, he's combined for 10 hits, runs, and RBIs. So also a spot that we could consider here. Jaren Duran over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Keep an eye on the pinned comment there. I don't think I talked about a total here. I guess I'd lean towards an over. We're looking at Brian Bayo walks over, Jaren Duran over. Like, I don't think Trevor Rogers and Brian Bayo, either one of them, winning the Cy Young this season. So yeah, I guess I'll lean towards the over. All right, next up, we got Washington taking on the Mets. Washington slight underdogs here at home. The Mets winning 7-2 yesterday after being down, what was it, 2-1 or 2-0 at one point? But Sean Manaea threw 7 innings. Even Hurts didn't look all that bad. He had 10 Ks through 5 2/3. I believe that was his longest start of the season. But we cashed the Mets over 4.5 runs for team total yesterday, which we love to see. I don't mind going back to that again today, but I might just go Mets on the money line here, paying that minus 130. They're going up against Mitchell Parker, who I don't think is going to have a terrible start. I don't want to say that, but I think, Christian Scott here should fare a little bit better against these Washington bats. But even if that's not the case, looks like the Mets bullpen should be in a little bit better shape compared to Washington here, which I think that could be a factor, especially based on how the game went yesterday. So I'm going to lean towards the Mets on the money line. I almost want to go team total over again, but I'm kind of giving Mitchell Parker a little bit of credit here. He's been pitching really well at home. My one thing I will say is that he doesn't pitch very well against lefties. There's only one lefty in the lineup here, one true lefty in the lineup for the Mets today. The rest are righties, in which he has a 218 batting average against, so pretty good spot there. So again, I think this could be like a 4-3 game or a 3-2 game, something like that. I don't necessarily think the Mets absolutely go off, but if they do, great, because I don't think Washington's going to keep up with them per se with their lineup. So give me the Mets on the money line, maybe a slight lean towards the under, but that's damn scary to do with obviously, the Mets in question here. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we end up rolling with. A player prop that I really am not minding, guys, is going to be Mitchell Parker over 4.5 strikeouts. Now, this is plus 114 over on FanDuel right now. The rest of the books out there, DraftKings minus 115, MGM minus 115, Caesars minus 117. So you're getting expected value here over on FanDuel. He's done it in 2 straight starts, and what I like is that he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. Now, the Mets crush fastballs, don't get me wrong, but that means they're going to be swinging. And this is a guy that obviously is going to put the ball around the plate and probably end up pitching for contact to some degree. So if we get some unexpected fans, I think we can get to 5 strikeouts today with Mitchell Parker. But again, it's a plus money play. Keep that in mind. Not trying to send this down your throat. Wish I didn't say that. Hey, right now until Sunday, so even after the 4th of July, we have a little 4th of July sale going on over on FadeMe.store. Guys, if you want to support what we're doing here and pick up some great merch, head over to FadeMe.store. These are 3 of our newest shirts. We got a parlay a day keeps the doctor away, self-proclaimed sharp, which will open this one up, make it a little bit bigger. You see it says self-proclaimed because we're all self-proclaimed sharps. And then my favorite of our new releases, it's a good day for a parlay, because what day is bad for a parlay? Coming in white and black. Guys, everything is up to 30% off. You can see this one looks like it is 20% off here, but everything is already hard marked. You can see the sale badge next to everything. So head over to FadeMe.store. Depending on what the product is, it's anywhere from 20 to 30% off. So the lowest you're going to get is 20% off. So a great day to go and purchase and help support what we're doing here. Tons of cool products. We're always releasing new stuff. We just launched, like I said, a few of those new designs there. We got the King of the Bases, the Blackout Collection, which I was a little against this, launching the Blackout Collection right before summer, but this has been a great seller so far. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, that is FadeMe.store. If you do want to support what we're doing here and pick up some great merch, head over there, FadeMe.store. I'll put a link for you in the pinned comment. But yeah, up to 30% off for the next few days here. You don't need a code or anything. Everything is already hard marked on the site. Go support what we're doing here and pick up some damn good merch. I stand by every piece we put out. All right, Yanks taking on Cincinnati. Rodon on the mound for the Yankees, going up against Andrew Abbott here. This one kind of has perplexed me because I think Rodon's the better pitcher in this matchup. But if you look at Rodon's last 3 starts, 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. 3 2/3, 7 earned runs. 5 innings pitched, 8 earned runs on 10 hits. Now, it was against Boston, while they were kind of hot, Atlanta, and then Toronto. So I don't know if you want to make out the case that he's pitched against some good lineups. I don't know if I'd say that. But overall, I don't really want to trust that. But then you look at Andrew Abbott here, and it's like, okay, he's been pretty good, but against this Yankees lineup, a little bit scary. Now, the Yankees do suffer against lefties way more than they do righties. That isn't their specialty. But overall, I'm having trouble getting to the Reds here. So I think the way that I play this is maybe some sort of flyer on the Reds as a lean. Probably don't get there, but I don't mind taking a peek at their team total or the over overall in the game. Now, the one thing that can kind of keep me away from betting the Reds overall and probably will keep me, the Reds won yesterday. If you were to tell me the Reds take 2 straight against the Yankees, I don't know if I'd believe it, but I'm clearly a Yankees weird believer right now because they've been playing some bad baseball, you know what I mean? Yet I'm still sitting here thinking the Yankees are what they were a month ago. So maybe I'm the dummy in the room, which a lot of the rooms I'm in, I'm the dumbest one in there. Always surround yourself with people smarter than you. There's some advice for you kids. But overall, I just can't see the Reds beating the Yankees twice in a row, right? With what I would consider the worst pitcher each time. So probably stay away from that. But I don't mind taking a peek at the full game over, even taking a peek at the first 5 over if we can get it at 4.5. I don't mind that either. But this isn't the best of spots if you ask me, which you're watching this video, so to some degree you're asking me. I do have a couple player props that I like. Santiago Espinal, I don't mind his under 0.5 strikeouts. This is not a guy that strikes out a lot. On the season, he's hit the under in 74% of games, but I believe it's 9 straight games he has not struck out in. And he's going up against a left-handed pitcher here, in which his K percentage drops to 7.5%. That's damn good, so I might lean a little bit towards that. Again, strikeout props are kind of an absolute sweat to bet and all that, but his strikeout rate against fastballs drops to 4.4, which is great because that's what you're going to get 52% of the time from Rodon. So definitely a spot that I could see there, but does Rodon come with a vengeance plan here because he's been pitching so poorly that he just starts fanning Reds? Maybe. This is a Reds team that definitely strikes out a decent amount, so could be something that we just talk about here and then put to bed and say, hey, sweet dreams, we're not taking you tonight, but that's creeping up towards the love level for that strikeout prop. All right, this next one should be interesting. We have Toronto taking on Houston. Last time Ronel Blanco pitched against Toronto, you might remember it. I'm sure the Blue Jays wish they could forget it because not a single one of them got a hit as he pitches a no-hitter. So definitely something to make note of there. Do the Blue Jays come in with a let's freaking get to this guy, or does Ronel Blanco feel like he can do anything you want, pitch with the opposite hand against this team? You know what I mean? He goes out there and throws lefty. I'm not exactly sure. He has looked fairly decent still, still pitching well. He had what you consider a mass start, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, but 3 home runs led up against the Mets. But again, any pitcher against the Mets, if we look at it as a negative, it's give him a little bit of slack, right? Going up against Yusei Kikuchi, I don't know. He's kind of a mediocre pitcher right now. They've lost in 3 straight games. He's barely pitching over 4 innings. He's allowing, in his last 3 starts, 4.5 runs earned per game. Still striking some guys out. So if you want to make an angle for him, maybe that's the spot because I think this Houston team is going to try and get to him. But overall, I'm having a tough time getting to Toronto in this spot, and I kind of wanted to be begin with. I like the idea of them bouncing back and going up against Blanco and trying to, Blanco all over him. So I'm going to lean towards the Astros just because I really couldn't get there with the Blue Jays. But if someone is on the Blue Jays today, I think it makes a lot of sense. They might have some momentum after yesterday, but, 101 plate appearances against, Kikichi has an average against this current Astros roster of nearly 300. It's 298, a WOBA of 440, an expected batting average of 293, slugging of nearly 600, xWOBA of 423. I just don't see him being able to pitch super well against this team. Their bullpen is in most of the guys are in decent shape, but some of their better arms went yesterday too, so that's definitely something worth noting, whereas Houston's bullpen, which is already the better bullpen, is healthy as well, or, you know, not taxed. So give me Blanco, give me the Astros, and in terms of the total here, I'm going to lean slightly towards the over. I could see this being like bare minimum a 5-3 game, so one run somewhere else, a ball go through someone's leg or something like that. I think this one could get to 9 runs. We saw 7-6 yesterday. Maybe we see something similar, like 7-5 or 7-6, anything like that. But I do think Blanco pitches a little bit better, and so does the bullpen. So probably more like a 5-4 type of a spot here, 6-3, that type of thing. And I would start to look at some unders on the Blue Jays side of things, but now we're kind of putting all of our eggs in Blanco's basket, right? So I don't necessarily want to bet these, but I considered Schneider's under 1.5 bases, Bo Bichette under 1.5 bases, Schneider under in runs could be a good one too. But again, we're betting the over, that kind of counteracts it. Kirk's under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So we kind of got deep into those, but then I was like, dummy, why are you putting all your eggs into this guy's basket? I'm saying some weird things in today's video. This is one of the games I was talking about. What did I say yesterday? I sounded the psycho alert alarm. I said this could be a good spot for San Francisco as plus, 180 dogs, and I didn't even pull the trigger. I should have trusted that. We were seeing the board clear as a day yesterday and rolled with it, but we did not, so unfortunately we didn't get this one, but hopefully some of you guys took what I said and maybe ran with a San Francisco play, because cashing them for plus nearly 180 yesterday must have felt pretty damn nice. But today it is going to be a different story. You have Chris Sale on the mound against Jordan Hicks. Now, this is a San Fran team that in the last 30 days is batting really well against righties, so I'll give them a little bit of credit there, but it's also a Chris Sale that just is a very good pitcher. Like Chris Sale's last start, the team ended up losing. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 11 Ks, and that 1 run was a home run, so 1 bad pitch, you know what I mean? So I think that Chris Sale continues to do what he's doing. He has 4 good starts in a row. That's against Washington, Tampa Bay, Yankees, White Sox. You can make the argument that those aren't that great of lineups other than the Yanks, right? But overall, I mean, he still should be able to fare pretty well. This is a San Francisco team, though. I mentioned it. Hits lefties pretty well, so if you want to take the flyer again today, go for it, but I'm not fading Sale in this spot. Give me the Braves, first 5 run line if we can get a good price behind them. I don't mind them minus 1.5 either for some decent odds, but if you guys are new, you know, I like to have some nice plus money behind when I lay a full run line, which is 1.5. Plus 105 over on FanDuel right now isn't terrible, so I'm not totally against it, but it's not like enough to be, you know, sending me over there being like, oh my god, let's run to the window and place this bad boy either. So first 5 run line looks like it could be a little bit more in our favor here at minus 130 odds. They just have to win by 0.5 runs in the first 5, but I'll admit that San Francisco offense kind of scares me a little bit, but I think this is probably another spot that we could look at a first 5 under as well. So if we can get 4.5 as an under, that may be a spot that we don't mind either. So keep an eye on the pinned comment. Some things that we definitely could dig into here. I would say, you know, maybe we take a peek at some Sale props and all that, but again, San Francisco batting lefties pretty well kind of turns me off from that. So first 5 under. Atlanta, first 5 run line, probably the only ways that we might play this today. All right, before we get into the back half of the slate, have you guys checked out Daily Grind Fantasy? If not, you need to go and check it out. What it does is they have an optimizer that goes through all of these apps, all of the DFS player prop apps that we love. We're filtered to Prize Picks right now. It compares all of the Prize Picks lines, 1 to the lines that offered on sportsbooks. For example, Walker's strikeout line is 5 on Prize Picks. It's 4.5 on most sportsbooks, so you know there is some value there, right? We used this to cash our Prize Picks taco slip yesterday that I posted as a YouTube short. We literally went right to this and said, okay, what's the top play? And we rolled with it there. But also what it does is, say the line is the same for Jordan Hicks here, 4.5, right? Well, it looks at what the other sportsbooks out there are juicing this line to, gives you an average odds, and obviously PrizePicks doesn't care about the odds, right? 2 for 2 is going to pay 3x, 3 for 3, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter if they're juiced plays or plus money plays, anything like that. So why aren't you throwing minus 145-esque plays into your PrizePicks slip? This shows you the ones that you should be doing. It's a great way of like searching and saying, hey, is this a good spot? Or should we do it? Like if we wanted to look at some Brian Bayo lines, we could search Bayo and see the ones that PrizePicks are offering and say, okay, well, we were thinking about over, but looks like they're only giving that a 49% chance to hit, whereas this one is slightly over 50, taking the under, so maybe that's a spot. So go ahead and check this out, guys. I'll have a link in the pinned comment. It's going to bring you to the sign up page for this. You need to use code GUYBOSTON, GUYBOS TON, spelling bee champ, if you do want to get 25% off. The link will just take you there, but you got to trigger that discount with the code Guy Boston. Go check out Daily Grind Fantasy, guys. I live by this in terms of prize picks, and even when we make our sleeper plays and everything like that. Texas taking on San Diego. I'm telling you, something about yesterday's slate. I don't know if we'll ever get one of those again, but Texas wins 7-0. I called a good Evaldi game. Texas win, and we didn't even bet it. We're clowns over here, but we went 8-0. Did I mention that yet in this video? Today, we do have John Gray on the mound. He is going up against Adam Mazur here, which I think you might be getting. I'm not going to lie. Like, Adam Mazur stinks. I'm not trying to put lipstick on a pig here, but I do think that you might be getting some decent odds in terms of what you're getting for a Padres bats. You're getting them at plus 125 in a bounce back spot, in a spot in which their offense had been cruising, and they scored 0 runs yesterday. And it's not like John Gray has been out there dealing, right? 2 of his last 3 games, he's had at least 8 or more earned runs. Now, the one that he did pitch 6 innings, 2 hits scoreless against Kansas City, but against the Mets, he let up 9 runs through 3 innings on 11 hits and 2 home runs. Against Baltimore, 5 innings pitched, 9 hits, 8 earned runs and 2 home runs. Now, those are better offenses, I get it, but San Diego is kind of in that category right now of really good offenses, especially against a righty. So I may take the San Diego Flyer today. I know it could be kind of crazy just given the fact that we're sitting there with Adam Mazur on the mound, who, again, like, I don't really trust him. I don't love him, but could be a spot in which I consider. In terms of the total, I think by saying that and by doing so, I'm almost leaning towards an over just overall because I want the Padres to get to 5 runs today. So maybe we don't even worry about Missouri or anything like that, and we bet Padres team total over 4.5. I'm sure you can get some decent value for that. So that could be a play as well. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. From a player prop perspective, kind of dug, but to no avail here. Nothing really jumps off the page to me. A couple ones that I considered. I know you guys have been asking, like, even when I like something and don't want to share it, I'll still throw it your way, just with less backing. Marcus Semien and Jake Cronenworth both under 1.5 bases. If anything jumps out to us throughout the day, we could still throw those in, but they're minus 145 right now on Caesars. No other books offering them. Both of those I could consider playing if we were to get them at minus 140, and that's the most I'd be willing to pay. All right, I'm not going to say it. We almost had this one, too, yesterday. We almost pulled trigger on Phillies plus 110. They win 6-4. All right, I won't say almost and anything like that anymore throughout the video, but that was a 3-game stretch of San Francisco, Texas, and Philly. 3 bets that literally were this close to being placed yesterday, and we didn't do it because we're a loser. But we went 8-0. Nonetheless, we have a pretty damn good pitching matchup on the mound today. We have Shota Imanaga going up against Zach Wheeler. Now, Zach Wheeler has struggled a bit on the road this season, but not enough to kind of turn me off from the Phillies here, because I think this Philadelphia lineup is, definitely better than what we're looking at from Chicago. Now, some of those guys that they were missing yesterday are still missing, so it's a little bit sort of like, are we really going to try and, lay 130? But you got to trust Zach Wheeler to some degree in this spot, right? And they have the better bullpen, so I'm still going to roll with Philly, but I do wish, Schwartz and Harper, both those guys being injured, like, obviously those are somewhat notable spots that they might be missing. But keep an eye on the pinned comment. Who knows with these guys, the Phillies in general, like, depending on where those odds go, if people start hammering the Cubs because of that, and Imanaga's on the mound, like, maybe it's a spot in which we could consider getting some good value for Philly. But I just trust the Philly bats a little bit more than I do Chicago's, and we kind of saw that yesterday, right? Like, they get off to an early lead and kind of hold on to it. 6-4 was the final, and they've now won 6 straight against Chicago, so maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but this Cubs team, inverse of what the Phillies are doing. They've lost 7 of their last 10. Philadelphia has won 7 of their last 10. So give me the Phillies here in this spot. I'm kind of trusting Zach Wheeler. In terms of the total, I almost want to go Cubs, under in team total. If we can get it at 4.5, I worry that it's going to be 3.5. But I'll lean towards the under in the game overall because, again, I don't want to fade either one of these pitchers. I'm almost backing Wheeler more than I'm backing Imanaga, and then backing the Phillies lineup more than I'm backing the Cubs lineup. So I'll lean towards the under here. I don't necessarily want to mess with either pitcher, assuming one of them has a bad day. All right, KC taking on Tampa Bay. We got Michael Wacha on the mound for Kansas City. I don't even know what I was about to say. Michael Maka. Kind of sounds like a cool name, though. Ryan Pepe Le Pew Pepois on the mound for Tampa Bay here. In terms of what we're looking at here, we saw Tampa Bay 5-1 win in game number 1 of this series. And I didn't really see that coming. And now I'm kind of questioning what Kansas City's going to do. Michael Wacha has been pitching pretty damn well. So is Pepe Le Pew, though. So I think my main lean right here is probably going to go towards an under. But, like, I don't know if I love that because both these pitchers at any given moment could be kind of ticking time bombs. So I'll lean Royals as well as the under. But when I tell you guys that I'm not loving this spot and this is probably going to stay as a lean, I sincerely mean that. So hopefully you guys understand that. But give me Royals as well as a lean towards the under. No major player props that I'm loving here in this spot, in all honesty. And I kind of did look for some, but even when I looked for some like unders or anything like that, I look at it and I'm like, don't know if I trust these pitchers to make sure and solidify some unders. You know what I mean? All right, Twins taking on Detroit. You would have thought that I stole a baby or something. I think that's got a name for it, kidnapping. YouTube, don't demonetize this. Yesterday, based on fading, Tariq Skubal, and it's weird because even in the breakdown of the game, I was like, Tariq Skubal is so good. No one's saying he's not, but this is such a better Minnesota lineup offensively than Detroit, and that's kind of where I go today. Yet again, like it's way more juice today, so I don't know if we could pull the trigger. Minus 160 on MGM is your best value, but I still lean towards Minnesota here in this spot. You have David Festa on the mound, who I don't believe he has a home start this season, going up against Keider Montero, so I don't really know what to make of the pitching. So when it gets down to that, I'm like, okay, well then screw it. Let's just look at the offense, look at what I would consider the better bullpen, and roll with that. So it's a lot of money, a lot of price there, but I'll lean towards Minnesota. Maybe we look at them on the first 5 run line to try and get some better odds. But yeah, that's the spot. I don't understand like what the hate from yesterday was, and it wasn't hate. It's more like a you're crazy, dude. And it's like I've well admitted that fading Tariq Skubal could be a stupid spot, but turned out not to be, like exactly how we kind of thought it would go. He shut down the Twins, but then once he came out, and I guess, at the end of his start, like all of a sudden the runs start to come in, right? He had 3 earned runs, which is higher than normal for him. We also took him in our sleeper slip, and people are like, over 1.5 earned runs, you're an idiot. It's like, dude, it's sports betting, man. These are humans. They're fallible to some degree. Anyways, enough of that rant. Like I said, Minnesota is going to be my lean here. In terms of the total, I think I might go Detroit team total under. If we can get it at 4.5, we might be able to, right? Because it is sitting at 9 right now. In fact, I can check that very quickly. So please hold. Let's see. Team total over for Detroit right now is going to be under 4.5 for minus 145 on ESPN. A little bit too juiced for my liking. But yeah, could be a spot in which I consider there as well. And then a player prop I don't mind is Gio Urshela. I think that we could just keep riding his slump. He has like 1 base, or was it 2 bases in his last 10, but I think he has 1 base in his last 10. So he's gone 10 straight games of staying under this number. 75% of the games this year he's hit under. So yeah, maybe, it might not be a good spot looking at David Festa from Minnesota to keep a guy like him down, but we could just ride the slump. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment slump. You know who's not in a slump? Mr. 8-0. Did I mention I went 8-0 last night? You guys are probably getting annoyed as all hell with me. But I paid for my freaking vacation last night, so you know what? Be annoyed. Be very annoyed. Let's keep it going. All right, Colorado taking on Milwaukee, one of our winners last night, but this was an absolute sweat. Milwaukee had to come from behind and take the win. Not a very high-scoring game, 4-3, right? And that game ends with Milwaukee getting 2 runs in the top of the 9th. I was shitting you-know-whats, but you know what? I do think this could be another spot for Milwaukee, but they're pretty priced out today. You have Colin Rea on the mound, who he's been abysmal at home, so I'm not trying to sugarcoat that, but he's going up against Dakota Hudson, who that dude, I keep saying it, and they keep giving him another start. He is literally 1 pitch away from not even being a burger flipper at Burger King, mopping the floors at Burger King. You know what I mean? Like this dude, I just can't necessarily see the appeal to. He goes out there and he'll give you 5 inning pitched, but 5 to 6 earned runs, right? Like it's just what Dakota Hudson is right now. And Milwaukee has a decent lineup. In cores, I think this could be a decent spot for Milwaukee, but again, they're kind of priced out here, so maybe we look at Milwaukee run line, maybe we look at them, first 5 run line, but both these games have been pretty damn close so far, so are we going to see a Milwaukee game in which they kind of pull ahead? So far, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily say definitely, but I do think this could be a spot to take Milwaukee, because tomorrow, Cal Quantrill takes on, who is it? I think Tobias Myers. So a better pitching matchup. So this may be the last time to hammer Milwaukee when we feel like we have a really good spot for it. Now the total is sitting at 11.5. I'd probably just look at Brewers team total over if we can get it at a good number. I don't want to trust the Rockies to go out there and do their half, and they're part of the bargain here. So Milwaukee team total over is probably a spot that I could consider here. Oakland taking on the Angels. Much like I said yesterday, not exactly a spot in which I'm head over heels about, but yesterday ended up being a pretty good game. The A's were out to a big lead. I think it was either 3 or 4-0. They ended up winning, but it was a 7-5 game here. So, yeah, I guess that was a decent game, but it also looked a little bit more closer than it was, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, the Angels scored like 3 runs in the ninth. But nonetheless here, from my lean perspective, I don't think this makes its way into being a final play, but I'll actually trust Joey Estes here. He's pitched well at home, as crazy as it is to say out loud, but he's pitched well at home. He's actually looked okay in his last couple starts, and for the price you're getting behind them, at plus 100, I know it says minus 108 there, but plus 100, I don't see the value in taking the Angels at any minus money. So, I don't think this becomes a final play, but that is going to be the lean. In terms of the total, it's sitting at 8 right now. We saw a bunch of runs yesterday, and I don't think that either one of these pitchers are all that great, so I'll lean towards the over here as well. All right, what a good game yesterday. And by good game, I mean we had 3 full unit plays on this game, cashed them all. My favorite one is like just stumbling across DraftKings, and I saw the race to 6 runs. Neither was minus 165. You might be thinking, oh my God, that's a lot of juice. We could have gone lower, got, better odds and whatnot, but that closed at like minus 185. So I love the value that we got there. But nonetheless, today we have Logan Gilbert pitching against, which is kind of, I don't want to say shocked to see this name just because we haven't seen it in a while, but Dean Kramer here on the mound for Baltimore. And I think the better price you're getting probably is Mariners because Logan Gilbert, one, has definitely been a trustworthy pitcher, I guess you could say, on the season and at home. As of late as well, he's pitched really well. 2 of his last 3 starts, 0 earned runs now against Texas, against Miami. Then he goes up against Minnesota, but Minnesota, again, remember, very good offense. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and that being a home run. Still averaged 15 pitches per inning. But Dean Kramer, we haven't seen in a month and some change, and prior to that he was kind of spotty, so I don't know exactly where to come out here, but the way that I end up betting this game is, all right, listen to this, kids. This total set at 7, right? So they're expecting some good pitching from both teams, but Baltimore's offense is tremendous. I know they only scored a couple runs yesterday, but last 30 days, average against righties 2nd, WRC plus 1st, OPS, ISO slugging all 1st, yet this is still a game that is set at 7 runs, right? So give me Seattle. That line and that total tells me that this is probably a Seattle spot to back the pitching. It would probably be a first 5 money line play for me though, because I don't want to, get down to the barrel and look at, which bullpen's better, because I think we know the answer to that. If you don't know the answer to that, it probably is Baltimore's bullpen being the better one. So give me Seattle on the money line just because that total is so low. It tells me they think that Kramer's going to go out there and have a decent game. So Seattle on the first 5 money line, as well as, I guess, maybe a slight lean towards the first 5 under again, something like that. But yeah, trusting Logan Gilbert here, this definitely has a chance of being a final play. In terms of player props, I guess I'd have to look. I know I'm looking at an under, but Dean Kramer over 1.5 earned runs. Even before he got injured, right? He had hit the over in 78% of games on the season. Against Seattle last time they played, which was last year, he had 3 earned runs. And on the road this season, he's hit the last time he was on the road, which was one of his last starts, 5 earned runs against Seattle, against St. Louis. So this could be a spot here. We just want to get it at a good price. Right now, you're looking at minus 150 on Caesars. It's minus 175 on DraftKings. So let's see who is correct, because if that starts moving towards minus 175, it's probably priced out for me. All right, Dodgers taking on Arizona here. Hate to end it on this one. We don't know who's pitching for Arizona yet. It's still a TBD. I've seen Montgomery, which I'm not sure about that. I've also seen this name, Christian Mena, who I don't really know all that much about. But yesterday, the Dodgers win 6-5. I could see this being something similar to like that again. But again, Dodgers are priced out. We very rarely bet on the Dodgers this season. And when we have, it's when you're getting a short price because they have a no-name pitcher on the mound. And we're kind of just taking a swing. And it's been working. But this isn't one of those days. You know what I mean? On the mound for them is going to be Gavin Stone today, who serviceable at best, right? But I would still take the Dodgers offense over that Arizona offense, even though Arizona's offense has been pretty damn good. So I'd probably lean towards the over here in this spot as well, but we'll see if that makes its way into be a final play. I guess that would be the only play in this game that I could see myself rolling with. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. It was a long one. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 38 because you made it 38 minutes in to this annoying voice, this dweeb bragging about an 8-0 night last night. But nonetheless, guys, appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.